There is nothing quite like this. I absolutely love this situation. On a lonely, long road, in the bush, miles from anywhere, not really knowing what is around the next corner.
I've been on the road now for 39 days, following the Okavango River from its source to its end. My guide for this leg of my journey is an expert on the Kalahari and all it has to offer, Mike Main.
There's a cave around in these hills with a vertical wall like this, and there are over 300 of those.
Standing in the vast expanse of Kalahari Flatness is a partnerless clump of hills called Tsodilo. There is a huge sense of history and mystery about the place.
On a vertical wall.
On a vertical wall.
That's odd.
That's exactly right. You can't grind anything there. So.
No, it's going to fall out.
Shut up. My job is to show you the thing. It's your job to make magic.
No, it's my job to go ooh and ah, isn't it?
Okay,
I thought that was what I was supposed to do.
Of the several hundred panels, probably the most famous is that named after Lawrence van der Post.
Behind me is the so-called Van der Post's panel, and it gets its name from a visit here in 1955 by Lawrence van der Post, who was incredibly enthusiastic about the mystic feeling of these hills. And he climbed up there and saw that panel and described it in the book Lost Heart of the Kalahari, I think it was, and made the panel and the hills famous, although very few visited immediately afterwards. The next visitor, I think, was Alec Campbell by chance. Van der Post left a message in the bottle warning people about the necessity to propitiate the gods here. And he wrote that out, put it on a piece of paper in a bottle and left it on the ledge by that picture. And Alec came here, I think, for the first time in 1964. So that's 9 years later, found the bottle and the message and took it back to the museum. Unfortunately, the message is now gone. It's disintegrated. But since that time, there have been more and more visitors, and this is probably the most sought-after panel in Tsodilo Hills.
Without having done anything that I know of to appease the gods, we head off. Mike is taking us on an extended excursion to uncover some of Tsodilo's treasures, one of which, he tells me, has never been photographed or documented before. No, this isn't it. It's going to take several hours to reach it.
Incredible, isn't it?
This is almost a pulpit or a...
It's funny you should say that, because it is. It's a place held by the local people with enormous reverence. It is a place for them to communicate with their ancestors. It is, in our language, a shrine or a cathedral, if you like.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the things that to me is remarkable about these hills is they pop out as a cluster of 5 small mounds, if you like, big as this is, in this immense dune field, an ancient fossil desert. Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is.
And I think that's what makes Tsodilo so special.
It has an odd presence about it as you approach it.
Yeah, doesn't it?
It's quite odd, actually.
Absolutely.
It's quite strange. And then for the last minute, as we were driving closer, I was talking to Kenbuck and then looking and then suddenly I arrived.
Yes,
and I stopped the car.
It's
and
absolutely the feeling.
Yeah.
Amazing. I've never forgotten the first time I came here, and I had exactly the experience. They loom blue, black suddenly on the horizon, and you think, wow.
Yeah.
They work their magic even from a distance.
Yeah.
Just draw your attention to this depiction here.
No, that's not it either.
You must understand, of course, we don't know what they are. We can only look at it and say, well, we think that that's so fish-like that it might well have been intended to be a fish. And you look at Tsodilo Hills, incredibly remote. There's no water anywhere near here. The delta is 35 kilometers away. Where did the fish come from? Well, there's the Namasiri River is only 4 or 5 kilometers north of here. There's no water in it. But in former times, it was flowing. The delta was much bigger, water was much closer, and amazingly, in front of the male hill over there where I'm pointing, and in front of the female hill, there was a lake. And in the excavation at White Painting Shelter, it's full of fish bones at certain intervals. And the oldest fishing harpoon so far recovered in southern Africa was found there. So it's not surprising to see that depiction, and it may well be a fish.
It may even well be a whale, but that's stretching it. But
Yeah.
it has that whale shape.
I think that might be a whale of a lie.
Stretching things a bit.
Yeah, it's stretching things a bit, yeah, definitely. It's fairly easy. Let me just.
No, I was going to climb under it.
Let me lift it up for you. There you are. Right underneath the little chest of it.
It's becoming less of a mystery to me as to why this particular piece of rock art we're heading to has never been documented before. It's quite a climb.
All in the cause of art.
All right. Well done, everybody. Over halfway. People are going to pass between you and that.
You still got it?
Who's got the? No, the
You got it?
Between the rock.
Right, so I didn't tell you
Okay.
that while I fly airplanes, heights are not.
Well, just keep looking at the rock face on your right. And this is the last open height you're going to see.
Alright.
So you get past this. Done. The expert on art here is Alec Campbell.
Yes.
He has paid innumerable visits to these hills. He is the one who knows where every painting is. And we were here in May to meet him.
Yes.
And by chance, we met, Shasta and I, my wife and I, came up through here and discovered this. And I know enough about the rock art here to know that it is absolutely unlike anything else in the hills. And I was certain that Alec would have told me if he'd seen it. So we met him 2 or 3 days later and brought him here, and it was so exciting to see his pleasure at seeing this, which indeed he had not seen before. If Alec hadn't seen it, there was no spoor here. I doubt if anybody else has seen it. This, in fact, we were the first modern people to see it. That's how I would
No,
put
I'm
it.
not going to touch it, but do you have any idea on what these mean? What symbolism of handprints?
I sat here with Alec, we discussed it. We have no idea what this means. There is absolutely nothing that we can do to explain this. I can say this strange spider-like feature up here,
this
that
one
one,
here.
yeah. That is thought to be associated with the trance condition. That there are things called entoptics, which is the name given to the strange geometric designs you see when you're taking drugs or going into any state of altered consciousness. This is the work of David Lewis Williams. So that suggests that this is something that you see when you're going into trance, which suggests this may have something to do with trance. It's deliberately built this way in the curve of the rock. It's designed. Its purpose, we can't say. The handprints, there is some evidence that handprints are used to imply hunting and creeping towards an animal. That's Megan Beasley, I think, recorded that. We don't know. The group who came here the day we discovered it wanted to name it, and we all decided to call it the Campbell Panel, in honour of Alec Campbell, who has done so much work in these hills, has visited them more than any other, knows them better than any other. So this is now, henceforward, the Campbell Panel.
One more thing to do before we leave Tsodilo. There are very few San villages remaining in the Kalahari, but this is one. And there is even a chance that we may meet a genuine pureblood Bushman.
You're still short, eh? I can't believe it. Okay, these are for you. Okay. Just bought you some tea, some tobacco, some salt. Who is the one who does these? This is the one. I want to see the guy who does these. What's his name?
She's coming.
You can have a look at these. Isn't that amazing?
Look at this. These are
You got some?
It's made from vegetable ivory, the extremely dense nut found inside the seed of a hyphene palm. And talking about nuts, that reminds me, I must get some gifts for my daughters. The bangles are handmade right here. And although they don't look very different from any other Bushman bangle, these are the real thing.
That's rather nice, that is. We want to get some more like this one. Three. I got three.
I got three, Tisana.
I got three. Just one more.
No, only one.
Only one.
Meanwhile, the treats in the box, brought by Mike, are being particularly appreciated by one very old gentleman.
Wait. Yeah? Is it okay? Let's see me. Now, what's happened at the museum? Have they stopped selling this? Yeah, and we think they are keeping you.
They say that they will be open, they put it to have to get